All right, good morning traders and welcome to the Bookmap All Markets webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap. We'll be going through live analysis of the market. We'll be looking at the order flow, understanding the participants in the auction process to understand where price might be going next. We'll even take some demo paper trading decisions along the way to support the ideas of some of the order flow analysis, as well as understanding how to manage your trades within that environment. All right, so it's twofold in that sense. It is not a trade copying room or a trading recommendation. So in fact, let's go through the disclosures so you understand where we're coming from. General disclosure, all Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. The risk disclosure, trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. We do have something coming up just later today. Is a new webinar. It's an onboarding webinar. I'll be hosting it, and is for those that are new to Bookmap or want to get up and running, have questions. There's a Q&A session, so we're here to guide you through the whole process. Any questions about data or connecting to data or any features in Bookmap, or it just might be about how to activate the platform and add a symbol. Okay, some very basic things. But we will also look at some of the live analysis as well and answer any questions that you have. All right, so let's jump in. Let's take a look at these markets and see what's going on. All right, nice move here in the S&P. Oh, that's what we'll start off here looking at. We can see the opening drive to the downside, and then we're right back up here, just about where it opened at 9:30. So we're going to take a quick look, and actually we may digress a little bit and cover things a little differently today. We will be looking, of course, the focus is the order flow. That's where we can get that edge. But before we do that, we want to understand the environment that we are trading in. The bigger picture technically, but also just the environment fundamentally. What's going on out there? We have earnings coming up. We have FOMC tomorrow. That's going to be a huge event. So we also had some interesting news yesterday coming from China and about understanding well, maybe the U.S. is not so ahead of the game with the AI development, and maybe not as many chips are as required as previously thought for NVIDIA, and we saw the real downturn in NVIDIA. Anyway, you can see it across in the markets here, of course, as well. All right, so let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture here. We have a daily chart over here on the left, an hourly in the middle, and then on the right hand side we have a 15-minute chart. What's going on in these time frames? Time frames is a really important factor that we've got to cover in here. All right, so because in this webinar, for example, I just answered a question yesterday about time frames, is Bookmap a scalping tool? Are you holding it for the day? Is it for swing trades, etc.? And I'm in here trying to go through as many opportunities and occurrences as possible to demo order flow. The markets are fractal. Doesn't really matter on the time frame that much. It's just that you have to adhere to that time frame. All right. So what you see, you can understand what I mean by fractal is look at the daily chart here, see this uptrend, look at this candle below these wicks, and then it accepts above and we continue on the uptrend. That's the same thing as starting to happen maybe right here, right now, in the 15-minute chart. That's what I mean by fractal. All right, so anyway, we'll mention that. We'll cover the time frames again. However, what I want to start off with is, and this is vitally important, is understand the environment you're in. Okay. What are the fundamentals? What is the geopoliticals? And what's the sentiment? And we can see it here in the charts. It's in the candlesticks, but we don't know where the volume is trading. We don't know who's taking the other side of the trades. We don't have these order flow details in here. We can't see the footprints in the sand with candlesticks or bars. We have volume that's separated in the subchart. You may have indicators on here, and indicators are trying to make up for that difference, trying to get some sort of understanding of the bar data. I think it's yeah, you can find an edge in there. People have been doing it for a while. It's just not that clear. Whereas the order flow, you can get very precise, right? And that's what our goal is as well. All right, so let's start off with the just the fundamentals here and what's going on. We see the big gap down, and then since we've gapped down in here, look at the hourly here and into the gap here, and then we've seen it kind of chop around, but it's been going up since the drop into the gap, and we don't. Maybe we're going to get a gap fill up here. Okay, maybe it's not today, but maybe it happens tomorrow. Okay, we don't know, but we've already seen that we've tested the swing from yesterday, okay, at the end of the day, and then the overnight went above it, and then here's the cash open, the move down, and then we're right back up again, right? So are we just going to chop around in this little zone in here today? These are the kind of questions we want to answer before we start getting involved in the market. Okay, so what's driving the market? And then that sets up what kind of behavior you're looking for in the order flow. Okay, so now, for example, let's go through on this 15-minute chart a few examples. Now we know that overnight, as well as well, you see it here at the close as well, but from yesterday. But the overnight, close above, the swing up here. Okay, and then this pullback here. So this is actually bullish in here at the moment on this very small time frame and in this range in here. Why is that? Well, we're making a slightly higher high here. We see the bars, and they're green, and they continue on up. And look at the pullback here, the big pullback, scary pullback here at the cash open. Okay, well, we're right back up. Okay, so now we need to see if we accept up here and if there's volume and interest in transacting up here, okay, and then following through to the upside. Or is this going to be the new range in here between here, down here at 60.25 on up to 60.60 or so? Okay, so this is where we're going to start to drill down and start to understand more of what's going on in the flow. All right, so and now we also know that tomorrow is FOMC. So right now, based on those two factors, I'm looking for a pretty choppy day in here. Okay, but we don't know. We'll see. We'll determine that with the order flow up at these areas here. All right, so let's jump into Bookmap and see what's going on. All right, so here we are, and here's our high liquidity here on the bid at 47 and high liquidity up here at 60. Okay, so we just traded up here to 55 or 56. This is where it dropped from here as well. Okay, so now we're starting to kind of test above this swing here into this liquidity here. Still seeing buyers, So yeah, I'm looking for basically I'm still looking for it to go higher and trade up into 60, right, based off of this move in here and the momentum behind it. And we see some liquidity filled here, some here, but they also pulled some of that liquidity, right? So we're getting a little bit of a pullback. Here come our buyers. Now let's see them follow through to 60. There it goes. Okay, so now let's zoom in here. Let's understand what happened up here at 60. Okay, now actually it traded to 60, the best offer is up here, but nothing actually, I'm sorry, the best offer is up here, nothing traded here. Still 318 contracts up here, nothing was touched. I know that because you can see it here with the best offer, and you can also see it here in the chart range volume profile. You see that there's nothing that traded here at this 60 level. All right, so let's zoom out. Now we see a retest back up here and it's starting to transact. Still looking for the buyers to take these guys on. Okay, there's some more. Okay, there's some exhaustion actually. Let's see if the sellers take it back down to maybe some of this liquidity. And I don't know if Shark is in here, but Shark, this is, we're kind of trying to read the absorption up here. Okay, 275 contracts. Okay, so they're just traded into it. Let's see how much more demand is there from the aggressors. I think they're going to trade into it and through it a little bit, but we'll see. I mean, because right now this is absorption. It cannot trade through this level of 60. There's too much limit, too much supply here. There's too many limit sell orders at this price level and not enough aggressive buyers to trade through them. Okay, so this is being totally absorbed. There's just not a whole lot of absorption. It's only 77 contracts. Okay, so it's not maybe a very good example of absorption, but yet nonetheless, it still is absorbing the buying pressure. All right. So I hope that helps. You know, it's a funny thing. This regarding absorption, like we'll talk more about like how critical it is to understand absorption. But you know, you'll find like today, right now, we'll see. I still think that there's probably enough buyers to trade up into here, and maybe even through it. Okay, but we're not seeing it yet. Okay, so we come up here, we kind of trade into it, but can't trade through it. So we see the sellers take it back down to the swing and find some buyers on the bid here until we find enough buyers, aggressive buyers, to trade back up to this level here. Okay, so that's what, you know, we're starting to understand in the price action and high liquidity here. And now we might not get up here. Okay, well, what will that look like? What will that scenario look like? Well, probably we're not going to find many buyers up at these swings here, or maybe we can't even get to this swing up here. Okay, so here we go. We're going to get our answer here. Okay, I still think there's buyers here. All right, here we go. So let's see them now trade into and maybe stop run through that, maybe up to like 62 here. It's not a whole lot. I mean, it looks like a lot, you know, 200 contracts or so up here, but it's not a whole lot in the bigger picture of things. I mean, after looking at the S&P for forever, you know, 200, yeah, okay, in the book right now, it is a lot. It is for right now. In context, though, we've seen 600,000. We've seen 2,000 at some of these price levels. Good morning, Rob, Shark, Alois, and Stephen. Yeah, we can take a look at NQ as well, Rob. And again, congratulations, Rob. That's just so happy for you regarding your funded account, trading your evaluation account with TopStep. All right, there's our trade through. All right, now what we're looking for is how much buying pressure is there after trading into this these 200 contracts here. Okay, is there a lot? Okay, well, there's a bit. They trade into this liquidity here. Okay, so but maybe that's it. Maybe that's the end of it here. Okay, now we're going to get our answer up here. Okay, so let's see. There's still auctioning here. It's just not much. That's better. Okay, one more. Okay, so there's still auctioning here. We're just not seeing very much commitment up here. Here is a little bit more. Now let's see it. Now buyers should be able to take it at this point up to 61 and maybe 62. Okay. For those of you, we talked about this exact same thing here, and reading this top edge up here, and relating that to your stocks in your level 2, or maybe you're looking at your futures in level 2. Most futures traders are looking at a dome, and you see the same thing in a dome, it's just that we come back up, retest here, see the transaction, pull back, retest back up here, see the transactions taking place, that they're taking that liquidity and they're able to trade through. And that's what we're reading in there. And then, based off of that, you could take a quick little scalp up into that area, and you're only looking for it to trade and test into that high liquidity. Okay? We don't know if you want to zoom out and look at a bigger picture. Yeah, then you'd be looking for this to continue and trading up into higher liquidity, maybe up here at 65. Okay, maybe 68. Right now, again, let's take a step back here. What are we looking for today? And what is the order flow telling us? So let's step back and we'll look again here. All right, so we're starting to kind of break out of the swing high here, but we're not really expecting much today. The FOMC tomorrow, we see this big gap down. If there's a lot of traders that think that the FOMC, the interest rates will, the result will be that they'll lower rates. Well, people are going to speculate now of the likelihood of that to happen. I don't think it's very likely. So I think they're probably just going to stay the course. And if that is the case, then I'm looking for, in this kind of environment, for this to kind of maybe peter out up here, trade into high liquidity like it has, and then I want to see it kind of roll over. And then I'm looking for maybe more of a mean reversion type of trade. Maybe back down to this liquidity here at 56, maybe all the way back down to the swing down here, or liquidity that was down here around 50 or below. Okay, so and then we can look for that to start to unfold. Okay, what is that going to look like? Well, up at this top edge up here, we're going to start to see less transactions, and we're going to start to see maybe sellers at some of these other areas in here. Okay, sellers would be in here or in here, and maybe we're still getting buyers up here, right? But I'm looking for maybe less buyers now, and actually more sellers in here. Still, I'd love to see that liquidity filled in these areas in here as well, and then would love to see it maybe retest back up to that level, and there's no buyers. Okay, and then now we've got sellers in some of these clusters in here, and no buyers. Now the absolute opposite is unfolding right now. All right, so we're not getting that at all. Okay, so this scenario, as I was trying to outline it in here, we're actually seeing more buyers at the top edge, and there's more buying pressure. Go to the next level of liquidity, and looks like the next level as well is going to unfold here. Okay, maybe back up to our 68 or 70 level here. And that's what the order flow is telling us. It was going against what our kind of outlook for the day was. Well, at least so far. That can still happen. right now it's just, to me, this is like a squeeze. We're just looking for the squeeze higher, more people getting stopped out that were all short in this area in here. Okay, so momentum looks pretty good here. Yeah, we're up to 70. Okay, after trading into high liquidity, we're looking for a pullback, or at least it to go sideways for a bit. Okay, and maybe trade back down to 68 or 67.5. Any questions here? The caveman is here. All right. Troglodyte. That's a heck of a word. Yeah, this is the ES. There's some exhaustion, the buy side. Okay, let's see if we can get a little bit more selling here. Now, that exhaustion again, but it's still able to test up here. Okay, more sellers in here. All right, let's see it, sellers. Let's see you just kind of drop it down to maybe here, 69, 69 and a quarter or so. Now I was looking for it due to this exhaustion. The buyer, we can see it snap back up here, and we're getting buyers back up here again. All right, up at 72, still more buyers. Boy, this is a really nice squeezes. I'm gonna go turn on my stops and icebergs, because we're gonna really see some nice squeezes in here. Yeah. Still more buyers at the top edge, still able to press things a little bit higher. Okay, yep, still pressing higher, still being able to squeeze higher here, still finding some stops along the way. Big stop run here, 638, 190, 64. And let's see now, how many more sellers are in, or people have to cover in here, buy to cover. And yeah, so very few stop runs up here. So, we're looking for this to kind of explore the edge up here. And if we don't find people that are selling up, are buying up in here, and a lot of the movement in here is stops. As you guys can see, some of these, like, really nice stop runs in here, 350, 364, 134. This combined altogether came to 800. This is really nice one here, but there's still people getting squeezed out. Okay, so kind of looking for this auction to come up here and just not find any more buyers. Okay, so and then we're going to find some sellers here on the other side. So that's starting to pan out right now a bit. Okay, and then here you can see a stop run to the downside now. Okay, so people buying up in here are getting trapped now. Okay, trading into high liquidity on the bid on the way down here. And we got a little volatility, skittishness coming into the market just from the price action in here. Yeah, what's CVD displaying and how is it useful? CVD is a kind of an interesting one. Again, like we're not much on indicators, but if it can enhance our outlook, and CVD is an interesting one because it's actually showing you the cumulative volume delta. It's just buy minus sell plotted over time. It's not an oscillator, it's an indicator. If there's more selling, it will just continue to go down and down and down, no matter what the axis over here says. Now, so like you can see it in here. So the red dot is a market sell order. That will be a negative value. The transaction in here, it's only aggressor volume that it is recording. Okay, so and then it adds the buying volume here, the green dot, when it comes in and transacts. So the aggressive buyers. So it's buy minus sell over time. That's what it's plotting. All right, and what we're looking for is some insight. This is kind of a dumb indicator in that sense. All it does is plot it. Okay, buy minus sell, buy minus sell, buy minus sell. However, take a look at like this example right here. Okay, this is divergence. Now this is a kind of an extreme example. It's a binary example here, but it illustrates the point. Here's the drop right here. Here's the selling right here. But did price drop here? Well, actually it did, only one tick. But here we can look at it, maybe this one. See, look at CV. That's not going to quite work. Anyway, let's just stick with this one. Price dropped. I'm sorry. CVD dropped, but price didn't really drop. Okay, so there's a divergence there. Something's wrong. Something's off. Why didn't price drop along with CVD? Well, the reason is because someone's on the other side of the trade here absorbing that selling. And that kept price from dropping. All right, so now let's just zoom out and look at the bigger picture here. This is one way of using it and reading it here. Start to look at some of the divergences in here between here. You can see that this swing up here compared to down here you can see that this is higher on CVD, but and you see it lower here on CVD over here, but actually price went up higher. Okay, so there's a divergence there. In this case, it's a different kind of divergence. It basically it's a negative divergence. This one is showing us here that price was able to go higher, but CVD was not. So what that means is that the buying in here was less than the selling in this whole area in here. Okay, there's more sellers in here. All right, so that's another way of looking at it. So if you see price come up into this area quickly and exhaust out, and you start to see some sellers, you can look for them to trade back down to into the mean or back down to some of the swings here, right? So that's a few different ways to look at it. That's a few different ways that some traders are looking at it. You can also just look for it to match. You know, is this CVD matching the momentum we see on the sell side here? And yeah, it is right now. Okay. So there's a few different ways to play it, Brian. But again, it's just an indicator. Okay. We prefer to look and read the order flow and understand the auction in here rather than indicator-based type of strategy. So for example, right in here, let's suppose, what if we get buyers back up above here? Okay, and what that might look like, right? It would be like green dots coming in. Hold on a minute. Okay, what if we get green dots coming in, and then, you know, they're bigger green dots up here, and we kind of base up here for a while with some pretty big green dots? Well, then I would look for it to continue on up, okay, because this is where the seller came in and dropped price, but we're seeing something else in here, okay? And this is in the order flow, and then we know that these sellers in here are going to have to be buyers up here. We should get a squeeze. Okay, now maybe we'll see if we get that in maybe a smaller time frame in here. We started off the webinar talking about time frames. Okay, so let's look for it, and then we can even take a position based off of that. Okay, so I'm looking for now this scenario here. So let's see, there's our buyers. All right, so let's see if we can get a pullback now. Okay, see, we're going to miss it here. We're just, you know, I'm looking for a quick pullback and then get in, and then continuation to the upside. Okay, well, that's unfortunate. That's what happens though too. Okay. So this scenario we're looking for over here didn't unfold, and we wouldn't have gotten involved in it anyway because we didn't see the green dots in here, right? But we started to see it here, and we kind of missed the breakout. We look for a pullback and miss that as well, right? So anyway, this is a pretty quick move up, and you can see it's also a pretty quick move right back down. Hope that answers your question. And yeah, I'd like to kind of stay away from the indicator stuff, and I want to go over with you guys really the heart of Bookmap and what it can offer you here. Which is pretty amazing. I feel I'm always amazed by it. You know, to this day, still pretty amazed by it. The heat map here, we know what it's showing, right? It's showing you buyers and sellers. So the red down here is showing us 129 contracts. The red up here is showing 126 contracts. It's just liquidity. These are limit sell orders. These are limit buy orders. Okay, we put it into a heat map form and plot it on the chart with the aggressors and the price action. So we know that this high liquidity came in at this point down here. Okay, there's a lot to gain from this information. You know, so for example, maybe these buyers in here, limit buy orders here, and in here. Maybe they start to set their targets up here. You know, and there's all sorts of ways to look at this. Top of the range makes sense. or maybe we see more sellers starting to come in this area here. This is where they're willing to sell at the top of the range, right? But my point is this: we want to understand supply and demand, and the difference with that and support and resistance. And we know that this is supply here on the way up. These are limit sell orders on the offer on the way up, and limit buy orders down below price action. Okay, note how in a strong trend like this, we trade into and through the supply. There's just more aggressive buyers here, and these aggressive buyers continue to move price higher. Okay, so that's the context so far, and that is indicative of a strong trend. Right now, we can see up here we trade into this liquidity up here, and you can see that we don't see too many aggressive buyers up here. That's when we started to find our sellers trading into the bid down in these areas here. Okay, so this is we're starting to read and understand where buyers are meeting sellers, and that is the auction process here. Yep, Brian, that's right. So it's you know, there's different ways of looking at CVD, but if you can't really read maybe a range in here, you can look at CVD to maybe help out a bit. You know, are there more buyers and sellers in this little range in here? That one's pretty easy, but maybe in here it'd be a little more difficult. So let's see. There's any other questions? Can you please? When we were Ranjan, we were available in India, but we just didn't have too much of a following there. Okay? We had the Bank Nifty and the Nifty and NSE. There's also kind of some issues with some of the data. The data is tick data. Okay? It's not full depth. It's not. There was only like 5 levels of depth that we could display. So you know, there was some limitations there. So if you you know, really like a Bookmap, then I would suggest sticking with the futures here or stocks here in the U.S. Oh, you're welcome, DB. I'm glad it's helping and also getting you guys thinking for yourselves here. All right, so let's take a look at this here. Are we still finding buyers back up here? We're going to watch right here. Okay, so here we go. Okay, back up to here. Now, see how they're countered with sellers in here. So we're getting a bit of a battle in here. See how there was buying and then selling, then buying and then selling here. Okay, so yeah, we were kind of maybe looking to see if we can get up into 77 to 80 here. And no, sellers came in on the other side. All right, now let's see if we get it now. Okay, up here. All right, now, are we willing to buy up here? I don't know if I am. If I don't see a really big green dot up here, I'm not willing to. All right, and look at the offer here. You can see that more sellers are coming in on the offer, and they want to be sellers. These are passive orders. They're staying at these price levels. Okay, they cannot make price move technically. They can influence price, but they cannot technically make it move. They can stop price from moving, but they cannot make it move. They can only absorb the buying or selling pressure. Okay, so this is supply and this is demand. So now I'm curious, let's see if we get enough supply here to trade down to 72.5. Okay. Yep, there's enough. All right, now I'm just going to take a shot here at this. I want to just demo this here. Okay, why am I getting in at 72? Because this is where the supply met the demand. Okay, now, to be honest, it would be safer to get out right here at 74, because this is where that supply came in, heavy, right? But what we're kind of looking for is something, maybe something different. We're going to look for demand above that area and squeeze these guys. Okay, so now we're looking for our target to be up here. Okay, and the supply is up here now. Okay, the aggressive supply was here, but we're above it. So now I'm looking for the aggressive demand here to reach the supply up here. Make sense? See how we're running into this little wall here where the sellers came in and moved price away as well. Okay, so there's two types of supply and there's two types of demand. Okay, there's aggressive and there's passive. Okay, let me make that point clear again. This is aggressive supply and demand. Okay, it's the how much market buy orders and aggressive demand is there, or how much market sell orders or aggressive supply is there. And that's what CVD is also reading in these areas here. Right now, this is a good view. It's, you know, I have always been amazed just with this view of volume dots and price action together. However, it's only a part of what's going on out there. There's a whole nother side to this, and that is the passive side in that context, in that relationship here. Okay? And that's where the heat map comes in. And let's take the volume dots off just to show this idea here. Okay, this is, and we just have price action and we have passive supply up here and passive demand down here. That's it, right? That's all we're looking at. It's coming down into this liquidity now here. So we didn't have enough, we weren't able to get through this area up here and trade into this liquidity, at least yet. Okay, we're likely to get stopped out here, likely to get stopped out. Okay, now, you know, here we can do this just for the demo here. I do not recommend, and this is not a trading room, but just to show you this idea here, or this concept, okay, that this is still demand down here, but the most demand is down here at this 67 level. Okay, well, maybe we'll get a bounce out of that level, and how can I manage my trade based off of this information? Well, I can put my stop below it down here, right, and give it a little bit of breathing room. Okay, so you can hide your stops behind some of that high liquidity, or, for example, the front run some of the high liquidity up here. Now, see how these guys actually pulled their liquidity here? So that's kind of interesting. And look at this information here. Like, is this the same player? Most likely. I mean, like, at least, or maybe a lot of traders or algos are reading off of each other and also pulling after seeing some of this, or, you know, a lot of the same players at those price levels, because they pull all of that liquidity just about at the same time. Okay, so now we're just reading two elements here: pure price action and liquidity. Okay, passive supply and demand, and we're starting to understand that context. Okay, we're starting to understand this is almost like your candlesticks here. Like, this move here is pretty powerful. Look at the size of this move now. So we're filled up here. I actually think it's going to go a little bit higher now since these guys pulled. But anyway, what do we know from just the price action in here, and what can we read? Well, we can see that the angle is steep. The pullback here, this is a little flag pattern in here. Okay, really nice little flag pattern, to be honest. Like, here's our range, here's our breakout, here's our pullback, which is very slight or shallow, In fact, it kind of is still going to the upside, and then here's our follow through on the flag. Right now, with that angle in here, I would assume that, and I don't have to look at necessarily the volume dots, but I would assume that you're going to see some pretty big volume dots in here, okay, on the buy side. So green dots in here. So let's turn the volume dots back on and get the full context in here. Okay, so here they are. They're not that big, but they're big enough, right? There's actually quite a bit more selling in here. And then a little bit of buying back up to here, chops around a little bit, and more buying and follow through to the upside now. Okay? And again, more follow through to the upside. Buongiorno, Rosario. Iceberg settings. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so my iceberg settings are here based off of this chart. I'm sorry, I got to go back to the original instrument and then go to the iceberg settings here. Okay, so here they are. I'm actually using the automatic threshold that's showing 60. Oh, I'm sorry, 57 or more, right? So there's a cutoff here. If you don't like that and you want to put in your manual setting, just deselect the automatic threshold and then you can input whatever you want in here, right? I like this idea though, like it's filtering out so I don't have icebergs all over the place. Okay, so I'm looking only for the bigger ones. Maybe it's too much, right? So what can I do? I can bring down the multiplier. That'll show more. Now you can see it's 49, right? Or I can bring down even the interval of time here, which may or may not bring it down, right? It's kind of dubious here. In this case, went down to 17 minutes. It does show that there's 22 now. Okay, and I'm fine with that setting as well. That's not bad. Okay, so here's a canceled iceberg. The C means canceled. Let's zoom into this. Here's an iceberg for 33 executed. The E means fully executed for a size of 33. You can see the other one's kind of ghosted in here. Looks like this is 20 because remember our cutoff is 22. Here's 5, here's 2. They do not show up though. All right, let's jump back here again and look at our TraderMap Pro version or TraderMap Lite. Guys, you can use TraderMap Lite just as effectively. I have it right here, in fact. And this is, you can see we demoed it yesterday. So it's very close. There's just a little bit more filtering you can do on the TraderMap Pro version. And it also has other algos, not just the bot remove algo. Okay, are we still getting demand up here? It looks like it. Let's see the follow through then. Let's see if we can get it. Okay, pull back. And what if we can get back up here? And I see a big green dot. Well, I'm looking for this top edge to break and we come up to new highs for the day. Back up into maybe high liquidity up here at 80. So are we getting our follow through? Nope. Getting actually sellers here. All right, so actually I'm going to sell here. And this is a quick scalp, and I'm going to look for hitting supply demand down here. Okay, just like that. And it kind of exhausts out there. Right, and it was a quick scalp here, so let's see if we can get the follow through. If not, I'm just going to flatten it. Yeah, I'm just going to flatten it. Okay, so we could have been squeezed in here. Right, so I got in and out at the same price level. Okay. Anyway, guys, I just want to show and how powerful this is. Like understanding, as we may have called it, or you may have learned about it as support and resistance. Like this would be support, this would be resistance, right? we all know that. But we're taking this quite a bit further and talking about supply and demand. What is at those price levels? Well, there's nothing really here. It's actually a little bit higher, right? And we were looking for a move down into this liquidity, and actually it was kind of pulled in here as well. So we didn't get down into it. Okay, so we're just waiting for supply and demand. We're looking for the transactions into them, and you know, you can base now. Again, we're not going through a trading strategy in here. We're just going through this concept of it. We can turn it into a strategy. Okay, so where is the demand? It's down here. Okay, and that's where we would be looking to, in that case, then set an order there. Right. Okay, so looks like, to me, it looks like we're going to get filled here. Not only that, we have the potential to come down further. We may trade through this and down further into this level down here. Okay, so I'm just looking at it here and reading it. Oh, pre-market preparation, absolutely, Brian. We kind of started off the morning talking a bit about that. We actually have a PDF on it, but I will have to dig it up for you. And we may revisit that PDF as well, kind of enhance it a little bit more. All right, see how we're trading down into here, and we just can't get into that supply here, right? And so we're just kind of bouncing around in this range in here. Now this is getting interesting. Okay, we have more supply up here at a lower level here. And there the transactions took place. Okay. Let's see if it can go a little bit higher. And if not, and this exhausts out, then I'm looking for the sellers to take it right back down here. Okay, in fact, I'm going to do that. Okay, we traded into some supply. And we're looking for now, if we can get some sellers to trade it back down to the demand down here. And we're in a small little range here, but we're looking for it to break. I don't like see how they're pulling this liquidity here. That's not a good sign. We want to see more supply up here, and the reaction not be aggressive buyers like this. Okay, so anyway, we'll see here. I'm going to let it play out. We're likely to trade up into 80 here. Okay, so again, this was the supply. It traded. This was supply. They pulled a lot of it, but it traded. And now we're looking to see if we can get up into 80 in here. And we can see that the sellers came in now. So maybe that's enough of supply in here. And we're waiting for now sellers to trade it back down to some of the passive demand down here. All right, we're back up here again. Likely this is going to be a loser. Okay, it likely will trade into and through this 80 level here, but we'll see. I mean, these guys are holding strong here at 80, so that might dissuade a lot of buyers here, okay? And they may become trapped if we can get down below here at 77. Okay, so after trading into the supply, we look for a pullback or kind of sideways action. It's very, very typical. All right, so now look at the what's happening here. See how they're bidding up at these levels? So that's pretty bullish, right? We're at the bottom of this range and we're finding demand now here. So maybe we should take that. take what the market gives us, and let's see if we can get out here. See, we're going to get squeezed. Right. So anyway, I was a little too slow for that one, and I'm in another position. Okay. So I was a little too slow on that one, but I think you guys get the idea. See how the auction here changed in here. Okay, so back here we're reading it and thinking, well, okay, well, if we can't trade up into 80 and we see those sellers come in, we're looking for them to meet the buyers that were down here. But then this changed. Okay, it's dynamic. This is where the buyers start to come back in. Okay, that passive demand came in at higher levels here, and it actually traded here, as you can see, right in here, right? And that's where we started to chase after it. It was just like, okay, maybe we got it wrong. Let's take what we can get and get out. So we got out with a 3-tick loss, okay, and just missed us in here. And if we were a little faster down here, because we noted it and we talked about it, but depends on the time frame you're trading, right? We saw this. We were able to act quick enough to it. We could have acted quick enough to it, put it that way. Instead, we didn't. We kind of let it go against us and then had to chase. Okay. However, look what we avoided. Right. Anyway, it was just a demo. All right. Well, again, more. Here we go again. Okay. More and more demand coming right back in. Right back in. $85. It's transacting. It's transacting up here, 86. All right, so now I'm kind of looking for it let's see. We'll go through it again. Now this looks like a dumb idea, right? But we just traded into a lot of supply here. So I'm looking for them to trade it back down to the demand. Okay, this is a counter trend trade. And let's look at some areas. Maybe here is good, or maybe this range here is all they get, right? Maybe that's it as far as it goes. See how it's trading back down into below this little range in here. Now let's see. Okay, so we got filled on that one. It came down. I'm still looking for it to come down a little bit more here. There we go. Right. Yeah. Refractio. It is. I mean, the whole thing's order flow. In my opinion. I don't know. I'm very opinionated there, but over the years, that's what I've come to understand. The whole thing is basically order flow. And why would I say that? Well, take a look at these candles in here. All you have is price structure, really. You don't even have price action. Not really, because it's an aggregated period of data where you don't really see the price action within that period. So it's totally cut off within the period of 15 minutes in this case. Okay, it could be volume bars, Renko bars, doesn't matter. But it's still a period. And we can just kind of read and gauge this. It's really blunt, like a very, very blunt instrument, trying to understand order flow in here. However, we can put the pieces together and start to understand. At this top edge up in here, we broke it. Okay, we're looking for more aggressive buyers to take it higher, and we did get that follow through in that move to the upside here. And take a look at even the hourly or the daily here. Let me do some of the bars in here in the daily. Same ideas. And it's actually what makes up these candlestick patterns in here. So for example, this one's not quite an engulfing pattern here, but it's getting there. It was just about getting there, right? It needed to come up a little bit higher here, but it certainly was down here. You know, that's pretty bullish. So, and we're still in an uptrend. So on a daily chart, you know, what does this mean in here? It means there is probably a lot of limit orders getting filled on the bid on the way down here on this day here below the swing. Then it opened up, went below the swing a little bit more, catch some traders going short thinking it's going to come down here, pulled away, traded back up into the range. Maybe there's a whole bunch of limit buyers in here. Right? That's what's happening in here. It's a candlestick though. It doesn't show any of that. And we're trying to understand it by an engulfing pattern, which is basically the same way of saying like all of these traders in this little area in here are turned upside down when we get back above them. Okay? And that's the same idea we're looking for in some of these concepts with short squeezes here. So for example, right now, let's see, right? See this little move here. Do we get more buyers here? Yep, we're getting them. Okay. So let's see now, maybe we'll get a pullback here. And trade up into this liquidity. No, we're not. We're just getting buyers here so far. Here, let's actually just put a candlestick on here. I hope that makes sense. But trying to make this point that I mean, really, I firmly believe it on the monthly chart. Whatever, does not matter. It is all order flow. All right, let's try to read it here. Sellers, this is pretty aggressive here by, I hate to use the kind of mix the terminology. It's actually not mixing it, but it might be confusing. These are passive limit sell orders here in the heat map. Okay, yellow, orange, white, and kind of bluish areas here. But their behavior here is aggressive because they are below the swing and they want to be sellers in this area in here. Okay, so now we want to see what is the order flow like, or we know what the order flow is like in here. We want to see what is the appetite of the aggressors in here now. Okay, so now look, I mean, we see buyers coming back in. Okay, so do we get buyers back up here again? Yeah, we're still getting them. So likely to trade a little bit higher here. Okay, now here, I'm just going to take a quick scalp on this one and look for it to trade right back down to here if I can get out quick enough. Just to here. All right. There we go. Okay. And why would I take that? I mean, it looks like a kind of a silly trade. Again, it's not a trading room or a trading strategy here. This is trading the pullback to support. Okay, so we have some liquidity in here, and we have some of these levels in here as well to trade to. Okay, now, there's another way of doing this too. Maybe I got in one position here short, took it off here, but had two here. And so it takes me out of this trade and makes me long at that point as well, and then trade it right back up to the resistance or the supply up here. All right, so anyways, it's a really powerful idea in here of understanding where the demand meets supply. In this case, with the limit sell orders up here, or where the supply, aggressive supply meets the demand, like in this area in here. Once those transactions are met in the auction process, you can see, I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Look at this. Look at see all this supply in, or all this demand in here, and the supply takes it on. Just cut across here. Look where the demand came back in here, okay, above that area. Okay, now we're looking for this to continue back up into maybe here, but maybe up in here where it dropped from. Okay, and that's exactly what it did. It came back up into where it dropped from here. Right now, that's let me. I want to take just a step back here, guys, and just mention, like, these are small time frames that we're looking at in here. And let's take a bigger step back and look at the higher time frames as well, because you know, those are more likely to play out. There's just kind of more strength behind those moves, and they can be, you know, nice runners, bigger moves, and we'll zoom out more for that. Okay, and let's because this is not just a scalping tool. It can be very effective, okay, but it can also be very effective on higher time frames. So that was the question I got yesterday from the webinar, and we'll continue to zoom out. And what does this look like in here? Okay, and let's just kind of dim the heat map a little bit. Okay, and let's take the stops and icebergs off as well, and maybe my order information here. I think I can do that. Yeah, okay, so the order information is gone. And let's go back to stops and icebergs for just a second here. And we don't want to show them. All right. Okay, so here's our higher time frame plays. Okay, so this actually looks pretty good on the higher time frame here for continuation. This is a strong move here. This doesn't look too strong, but it trades up into high liquidity up here. This is why we got this pullback. Look at it now. We see now, okay, we kind of go back up to the highs here, and there's buyers up here. They're interested in taking this higher. Maybe then 6,100 is the target here. Okay, so, well, now, would we want to get involved in here? No. Because we just traded into this high supply here. Okay, so we'd look for a pullback. Okay, it might even pull back all the way back down to here. Right, to find the buyers down here. Or it might even come back down to here or here. Right, to find those buyers. Okay, maybe it just comes to here where these buyers came in and moved it higher. Right, and maybe that we just kind of chop around in here for a bit. Okay, but on that higher time frame, it looks pretty good for the moment to go higher here. Okay, so here, we'll take a shot at it here. And I'm looking for the buyers here to trade back up to maybe 86 or 87 here. Okay, now on this time frame, I'm just looking for it to trade up to this liquidity. But on a higher time frame, I'm looking for it to go up to like 6,100. Okay, so it depends on the time frame that you're trading. And where would you put your stop loss if you're looking for it to go up to 6,100? Right? What's your risk reward ratio in here? Now, where are you willing to put in the risk? Got to take risk. All right, let's see. Let's see. Do we get it? The question is up here. Are we getting enough demand by the aggressors here to trade into high liquidity and through it? Now, see how the transaction took place here? Oh, I'm sorry. Some of it pulled. Okay. So, yeah, I don't like it though. It can't get through this area, and they pulled some of it. So yeah, I don't like it. I mean, maybe we'll get a bounce here. Let's see. But yeah, this is to me like, well, we should have managed that one and got out there. All right. Anyway, we just got stopped out. Again, no, like, we trade up to these levels, and then we want to understand what the supply and demand looks like here. We thought, okay, well, we mentioned it, and then I thought, well, maybe we'll get a bounce out of this area here, trading into this liquidity here. And we didn't. We're going to the next one. Actually, we have another limit order here at that level. And we're filled now. All right, so let's see now, where are we here? All right, so not bad. This is where these buyers came in. So a bounce coming back up to where? Maybe here, where these sellers came in here. You can see we've only come up to this level so far. Still finding some buyers. All right, so we're filled on that one. Is this confusing to you guys? I'd like to get a kind of some feedback from you. And along the way, if you like this, please hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Better yet, come over to our Discord channel. You're going to get a lot more out of it. In fact, sorry guys, let me come over to the Discord channel. I don't mean to leave you guys hanging. I just was been on a rant here today. Oh, I'm sorry, Rob. Yeah, you wanted to go over the Nasdaq. We'll jump over the Nasdaq. Cal, you don't have permission to chat in the live? What do you mean? You're chatting? Oh, well, no, we try to get you to chat in the all markets room here. Yeah, this is the correct chat room. Exactly. Alois is awesome. All right. Yeah, you're using SVP and CVP for your price levels reactions. Rob, it's all about flow. All right. Yeah, thanks, Trader Pete. I mean, it really is. It kind of has to be, because the only thing that can move the market are orders. No matter what the news is, no matter what happens, it's got to be orders. It's the only thing that you can do in the marketplace to affect it. So it just has to be, orders. So you're just talking about a lot more in terms of higher time frames. That's all. For anchored view app, is it correct to assume we have to load historical data? Yeah, maybe you might have to, Danny. But like for example, here would be another place where you might want to put an anchored view app, for example. Let's just do it for kicks here. All right, so I've got it all set up. Just right click up here, anchored view app here, and let's see what we get. Looks like a nice little area for a pullback. Okay, it actually broke it. So yeah, I don't like that anchored view app then. In fact, I would like maybe this one here. Let's take a look at this one. Yeah, all right. Well, let's see. Hey, do we get sellers off of this area here? No. Anchored VWAP's not working too well today. But you get the idea. What I'm looking at here, I'm looking for reaction in order flow around these areas in here. Okay, off of an anchor on a swing. Okay, anchored the VWAP here. All right. Gold, please. Okay. Um, yeah, yeah. We'll add it in here. We're on the G contract. Actually, I can add in the with this version of Bookmap, I can actually add in a continuous contract. All right, starting to get a reaction off of VWAP here, maybe just kind of up in here. I don't like it that it's broken, so, but I'm starting to see some sellers down here. Again, like the whole idea of a VWAP is to assume that traders are using this, and that you can only know that or confirm that via what happened after. Or you can confirm it in the order flow. So this started to look pretty good for me that, well, maybe they're starting to react to it here. However, it did break it. And I don't like, I like it to be the first touch. I know that these sellers up in here are adding to their position here. And then I look for the follow through to the downside. I don't like that it broke and then I'm finding sellers. So I stay away from it on the first touch. But hey, you know, I'm not much of a VWAP trader. Any of you guys are mean reversion traders? Well, we're just trading into it right now. Hey, you're probably going to get a reaction here. Okay, just trading back down into an average in here where you can see it in the auction and the profile. Hey, did we find traders? Heck yeah, we did. Look at the buyers coming in here. Okay, so now let's see if they can continue. Okay, so we're looking for a pullback. Maybe here. And let's see if we can get back up here. On this one, just back up to the top of the range here. Okay, so we're verifying this theory that this is a mean reversion. And what do we have though to support the idea? Because we're in a downtrend. And we have a few different things. So we have high liquidity getting filled in here. And we see the reaction by the buyers here. Right, now we're down below it though. Yeah, we're back up into it. We got to get our buyers here though and try to get back. See how we made a lower high here? Don't like it, although we're getting a reaction here. We should see buyers come back up to about here, maybe 78 or so, 78 and a quarter. But these are the aggressors here. There's more buyers down here. There's more liquidity down here. So maybe that's it for the aggressors, and we have to trade into this area here. Yeah, it looks like it. All right, let's zoom out here because again, our bigger picture, what are we looking for? And it's becoming a little more muted up here because we see that we traded up to the high here, 85, and we kind of got some exhaustion. Here's our divergence, or you know, kind of exhaustion here. Yeah, now we're seeing sellers come right back in. Okay, well, we just traded. I'm going to actually lower my stop just a bit here. Okay, because we just traded into liquidity here. And I'm looking for those mean reversion traders to come in. Cover. Oh, more supply, more supply. Heavy selling. Okay, this is going to be a stop run into this area here. Okay, we're going to get stopped out right at our level, though. I'm going to give it a little more breathing room. Okay, we should find some buyers now. And we don't. All right. So I took a loss on that one. Let's see here. Let's zoom out. Let's take a look at our bigger picture. Okay, so maybe in the bigger picture we want to be a buyer down here. Okay, this would be the swings down here, and let's mark up that level and let's look for some supply. I mean, sorry, some demand down here, right? Okay, so there is some down here at 68.5. Okay, nice low volume nodes here. See a stop run into that. Okay, and looking for some demand out of that. Beautiful. All right. Yeah, I'm just going to kind of jump in on that one. Right, because we're looking for, after trading into lots of demand, we're looking for a bit of a pullback here. In this case, we're looking for a little bit more than that. We're looking for a reversal, okay, because we got our higher time frame here as well. Or maybe a bigger pullback here, maybe back up to here where our target is. No, that's it. Maybe back up to where the aggressive supply came in here. That's a good place to place our target. Okay. Now we got to see that momentum and demand come in here. Looks like they got it. I'm going to add to this, and let's see if we can get more of a move out of this. If we don't, we'll just dump it. Okay. So this is where those buyers came in. Let's see if we can get more. Okay, let's see it. Buyers up here. Nope. 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 More supply. So not looking good. Not looking good for us here. So we're trading at a pretty bad time here. It's the European close, which I don't like to take positions at the close. It's just kind of erratic behavior in the auction. We got ticked out on that one and this one. Okay. Oh, that sucks. All right, let's take a look at this though. What's going on here now? Okay, so we were pretty bullish there. Up in here, we were pretty bullish, and then up here we saw that exhaustion, or you know, it started to peter out on the buy side. I'm looking for playing off of this swing here, and we did, and didn't work. All right, so maybe we need to still come down into the next level of liquidity, or maybe down into here, and you can see a bigger VWAP down here as well. Okay, so I'll be looking for that in here. Big divergence. Let's see, is there? Really? I don't see it. Love it. It's transacting. We're seeing it transact into these areas here. Now it's starting to look better here. This is another thing we'll kind of leave off on this one here. We're trading into this very high liquidity on the way down. Okay, and there's just, and this is a good example right in here. More of that supply, and then there's just not enough buyers in here, even though we're trading into that liquidity. So this is a strong trend. Okay, we look for big red dots in that case. But right in here, we saw the lift away from this little structure here, and then and we saw the buyers, and that's when we got in. Okay, and then we took a bigger loss in here off of that one. And it's kind of doing the same thing again here. All right, now what I want to cover though is this. This is a strong trend into the high liquidity on the way down. Okay, here as well, and also here it's still pretty hard or pretty strong volume into a high liquidity here. Okay, but now we got a deeper pullback now. Right, so this is how you can start to see like your head and shoulders patterns and others start to unfold. Is you look for those deeper pullbacks and clusters of buying up in here to start to break maybe some of the structure, and you're looking for it to break the structure on buying. Okay, a good example of this is here from the knowledge or the learning center. Go to bookmap.com, click on education. Okay, and then in strategies and setups, we're going to be adding a lot more in here very soon. We can go to the reversal pattern here, head and shoulders, and it looks like this. Okay, so strong trend to the downside, strong trend to the downside, little pocket comes in after high liquidity is transacting. Okay, and you start to note the trend here starts to break a little bit. Okay, but there's still more supply into the demand down here. Now we're finding the aggressors make an equal high here, back up into this area. Now we're looking for this kind of shift in the order flow and the volume. Okay, right here at this area, and then you're going to see the pullback here. It's going to make a higher low, and you're not going to see as much selling coming in. You may even see liquidity underneath here at a higher level here. Okay, and that's when you start to see the shift in the order flow. Okay, for a reversal. Reversals are tricky because you know there's tons of supply here, and these buyers here can really get upended quickly. This is an aggressive entry for trading this inverse head and shoulders, because you place your stop below here, looking for that volume to pick up here and trade to the top of the range and take some off at least, but maybe this can turn into a continuation trade. Okay, so you're looking for that as well. So here's our structure and our structural reversal. Okay, that would be your second take profit. Okay, you're looking for a pullback to bounce off the top of the range. Okay, there's measured move, everything in here looks great. And then we're looking for, again, very little selling on the pullback and then the possible continuation pattern here. All right, so that's what we're kind of looking for in here as well. Okay, after trading into all that high liquidity. Okay, and we have our levels too. Okay, now our levels over here got blown through. Okay, right here. That was unfortunate, but we at least had the high liquidity getting filled, and then we did have those aggressive buyers. Now this was just too aggressive on my side. Okay, we broke this little structure. I saw this. I saw more volume in here, looking pretty good to trade up to here, or here in my book. But no, there's just more selling. Okay, they trade lower, and then now we're starting to get this back and forth in here. Okay, so you can see it in the volume bars and the volume dots too. Okay, I guess one more thing to go through here is what was the misread in here and a follow-up. I guess maybe just the momentum of the I traded the level and no, I wouldn't. Okay, maybe this one here, it's not that bad. Like I can accept the losses here on these. Like I'm below the swing. I'm looking for a bounce here. We got it, and then looking for these buyers in here to take it back up to maybe the liquidity here or top of the range swing. We didn't get it. We just there's at that point though, like, and we start to see that selling down in here, we should just exit the trade. Okay, just get out. This is starting to tell us something here. Certainly starting to tell us here. Instead, I put my stop behind high liquidity down here, right? And it was taken out for a bigger loss. Okay, and then again, same idea down here. Another swing though on our higher time frame. We put our line here, and high liquidity, and then jumped in here looking for the bounce. Okay, we got it, and then looked again here for more buying at a level, and look for the continuation. And just we're in a strong downtrend at this point. Okay, we need to look for maybe more pockets of buying to help us on this one. See how we kind of avoided it in this one here. We see the buying coming in, but now the sellers are back. Okay, so it's just like that image that we just saw of the or that diagram of the inverse head and shoulders. Okay, so is this enough? Now we're going to come back up into here. What time frame are you trading? I mean, you could get involved in here, and you could look for a move like up to maybe the swing up here, or maybe top of the range now. Remember, it kind of shifts and changes from strong trend, high liquidity getting filled, into kind of range bound, right? So we're kind of looking for that. We're not ready maybe for the reversal yet. Maybe we're still kind of like, seeing bigger swings back and forth in here before that. Anyway, guys, let's leave it at that. Thanks for coming, everybody. And let's see here. Did I answer all your questions? I think so. Thought on treasuries in the ES? Not really. I'm kind of more concerned right now of, I mean, I don't think anything's going to happen at FOMC. I mean, the market's going to react for sure, but like, it's going to be erratic. It always is. Yeah, anyway, I thought today we would not find a trending day. I thought it was going to be quite choppy. Anyway, anyway, guys, so you can see this idea in here actually right now is range bound. It's more of a range bound strategy. In fact, like, we could take our profit maybe up here, top of the range, right? Trading into that liquidity, because we are looking for this to chop around in here. Oh, come on, I have to chase after that. Anyway, yeah, and we'll see. Now maybe we get our cluster of buying back up above here, and still another pullback, and then maybe we get a reversal out of it. We'll look for these things. All right, thanks for coming, everybody. And don't forget, our onboarding webinar is later today. Here it is, at 2 p.m. East Coast time. Now this is for new traders. Okay, so get you up and running, answer your questions, and how to read Bookmap, how to use the different tools, putting a symbol in, logging into bookmap.com, different resources and everything. There's a lot of resources out there, so we really want to go through those things for you. All right. Yeah, hope it was helpful. Hope to see you later today at 2. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.